Role of Intention and Rituals in Life by Ayan Farvahar. The power of intention is the power to manifest, to create, to live a life of unlimited abundance, and to attract into your life the right people at the right moments. Wayne Dyer. Hi, this is Ayan Farvahar. I'm glad you're here. If it's your first time here, this channel is about self-realization and honoring your life purpose and meaning. If you are like me and interested in these topics, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay connected. Today, I would like to invite you to contemplate on the role of intention and rituals in life. For many of us, intention and ritual are symbolic words used merely in spiritual context or as parts of our religious ceremonies or cultural traditions. But as we see later, intentions and rituals have a deeper purpose and are there to play a much bigger role in our lives. They are powerful ideas that can deepen our connection to our innermost sense of self and help us find conviction and meaning in everything we do. Have you ever thought why we don't follow through with some of the decisions we make in life? Why we lose interest in following our goals, even the ones we were excited about when we first thought of them? Is it really fair to view such instances as true reflections of our abilities or willpower? Definitely not, especially if we reflect back and look for the presence or lack of our intention in them. In fact, we can see later how setting intention can lead to higher conviction and a sense of trust in whatever we set our minds to in life. In this presentation, we will focus on the following questions. What is intention and how it is different from a decision or a resolution? Why do we end up not following through with many of our decisions or resolutions? What are rituals and why they can add meaning in everything we do in life? What is the difference between habit and ritual and why that is important? In case you're interested to jump directly to any of these topics, I have provided timestamp links in the description below. Contemplating on the above questions help us notice that there is always an emotion behind every decision we make in life, and how any change in that emotion can make us lose interest in following through with our decision. Also, we can see how setting intentions and rituals to signify what we want in life can help us cultivate deeper sense of connection to ourselves and have higher conviction and self-trust in all our future decisions. What is intention and how it is different from a decision or a resolution? What is intention? The term intention may commonly be viewed as an alternative to a decision or a resolution. But here I present two characteristics that make the meaning of intention unique and different from a decision or a resolution. When we make a decision or a resolution, there are always specific agenda or goal in mind. Intention, as defined here, is different because it's more like an invitation that does not have to have an agenda or a specific goal. So we can view intention as an invitation and openness to embody, commit to, give or receive something that is very meaningful to us. Another difference is that a resolution or a decision is usually our mind's response to an emotion. But an intention comes from somewhere deep within us. We can even feel it in our heart or in our soul. So we can say intention comes from a deeper place inside us, a place we can view as our innermost essence, our heart, our soul, or simply ourself. Let's clarify these differences by some examples. Love. I need to find someone to experience and share love. Here, there is an agenda and a goal, so this is an example of a decision or a resolution. I am open to invite and honor love wherever life takes me. Here, there is no agenda or goal, just an openness and invitation. So this is an example of an intention. Creativity. I need to find a career to cultivate my creativity. Again, here, there is an agenda and a goal. So this is an example of a decision or a resolution. I invite and honor creativity and inspiration in all I do in life. Similarly here, there is no agenda or goal, just an openness and invitation. So this is another example of an intention. As you see in these examples, the intentions here reflect a much deeper and more meaningful connection to love or creativity, almost like a way of life or a declaration of what we find meaningful in life. In contrast, our decisions and resolutions lack this sense of depth and meaning and tend to lose their appeal and purpose with time. Why do we end up not following through with many of our decisions or resolutions? Every decision or resolution we make in life is meant to achieve a goal. But if we go deeper, there is also an emotional driver behind all of them. This emotional driver usually comes from a part of our personality that is looking to address an issue, solve a problem, or make us feel better, or simply improve our life. For example, a decision to end a relationship or quit a job is usually made by a part of us that is overwhelmed by the emotional load of that relationship or job. This part makes us decide to end our relationship or quit our job as a means to address that emotional load for some needed relief. Virtually all of our decisions are simply reactions of parts of our personality to either express or suppress an emotion. Our ability to follow through with our decisions or resolutions depends on whether the parts of our personality that made those decisions remain present and in charge. But in most situations, that never happens, because there are other parts of our personality that have different concerns or emotions and want to change the course to address them. This is exactly the reason why virtually all of us, no matter how confident or determined, have experienced instances where we did not follow through with our decisions or resolutions. It may be useful to consider a hypothetical example here to see how our decisions and directions in life remain subject to our emotions and can change at any time. Imagine Sarah, who works as an employee in a secure but uninspiring 9-to-5 job. When Sarah was younger, she always wanted to become a jewelry designer and start her own small shop. But somehow now, she finds herself as an employee behind a corporate desk. Who is Sarah? Is she the one who believes she can be a jewelry designer, or the one who made her accept this uninspiring corporate job? We can see two parts of Sarah's personality here. The part that made her take the corporate job probably did that to make sure she has a stable cash flow and a sense of financial security. Maybe this part of Sarah was worried about her having trouble supporting herself without taking that job. But now that Sarah has this stable job, the passionate part of her who believes in her jewelry design talent is back as a critic to remind her of the uninspiring job she's doing now. This part of Sarah gives her a sense of guilt and blames her for a lack of courage to follow and honor her passion as a jewelry designer. You can notice the conflict and difference in agendas in these two parts of Sarah's personality. The part of her who made her take the job wants her to continue for its financial security. But the other part of her is not happy and wants Sarah to quit her job and follow her passion. This internal conflict could ultimately lead to Sarah quitting her job, despite all rational and financial reasons already lined up against it. It is hard to follow through with our resolutions or decisions because they're made by different parts of our personality and their emotional drivers behind them. As these emotional drivers compete and shift with time, so are our perspectives and determination to follow through with the decisions they once justified. Because of that, our decisions are always emotionally driven and therefore subject to change. But this is not always the case when it comes to our intentions. Because they come from a deeper place within us, are soul-driven and therefore not as affected by emotions or personality parts. What are rituals, and why they can add meaning in everything we do in life? So far, we explained what makes intention so different from a decision or a resolution. We argued that decisions are made by parts of our personality in response to emotional burdens they hold. We also explained how intentions come from somewhere much deeper within us and are not as driven by emotional burdens. More specifically, we defined intention as an invitation and openness to embody something that is very meaningful to us. Based on these, a life lived without intentions could be challenging and more or less at the mercy of our emotions. In the contrary, when we live life with true intentions, everything we do has a meaning and purpose. Even the decisions we make or the goals we set are informed by our innermost sense of self and wisdom. This is because our intentions become our guiding principles in life, helping us navigate any unexpected changes in our circumstance or emotional well-being. In other words, our intentions become our inner compass, guiding us in every path we take in life, so we never get lost in a maze. But how do we stay close and connected to our intentions so they won't be forgotten or buried under never-ending distractions in our world today? That is why we need rituals as symbolic representations of our intentions. Rituals can have a uniquely personal meaning for each one of us, but based on my experience and understanding, rituals are a set of steps, recitations, actions, or elements to signify and honor a meaningful connection or exchange. Rituals are not limited to well-established cultural or religious ceremonies or traditions. In fact, we can consider two types of rituals: collective rituals and personal rituals. Collective rituals. These rituals signify our ancestral, religious, cultural, spiritual, pagan, or alchemical traditions. They are honored through ceremonies, recitations, recipes, medicines, celebration of events, and so on. Personal rituals. These rituals are established by each one of us as a set of actions, recitations, hymns, symbols, or arrangements to signify and honor our intentions and help us be fully present and in alignment with them. We all have a set of collective rituals that are inherited from our ancestors, culture, religious beliefs, and traditions. But when it comes to a personal ritual, it is our intention that shapes that ritual. As a simple example, if we have an intention to invite love, respect, and compassion to our life, we may use a triangular arrangement of stones or elements in an altar or somewhere in our living space to signify these three elements of our intention. Despite its simplicity, this symbolism serves its very purpose, which is to remind us of things we value and find meaningful in life, which are, in this case, love, respect, and compassion. Personal rituals do not have to be elaborate. As a very simple example, we can honor the life of a loved one who has passed by lighting a candle that signifies the meaning and contribution of that person in our life. It is interesting to mention that personal rituals are a part of a broader concept called personal mythology. In most simple terms, personal mythology represents everything we stand for, live by, or do in life, either consciously or subconsciously. Personal mythology was introduced by Stanley Krippner based on earlier work of Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung. Another reference work related to the importance of rituals in life is Mircea Eliade's book, The Sacred and the Profane. I provided some links related to these topics in the description below and will try to create content related to personal mythology in the future. In summary, we can view rituals as embodiment and commitment to the most meaningful aspects of our life. It is only through intentions and rituals that we can experience deeper connection to our innermost sense of self and find meaning in everything we do in life. Our real intentions and rituals are soul-driven, so we continue to honor them, even if we were the last person on earth. In fact, imagining being the last person on earth would be a great test for affirming our commitment to our intentions and rituals. What is the difference between ritual and habit, and why that is important? As we saw so far, rituals are most effective way to remain connected to our intentions and live life in full alignment with them. But by design, rituals have specific steps that are to a certain degree rigid, especially when it comes to collective rituals and traditions with well-established processes and recipes. This causes our ritual to gradually become like our habits. Both rituals and habits involve repeatable steps, but at a deeper level, there is a fundamental difference between the two. The purpose of ritual is to help us stay connected to our intentions and what has the highest meaning in our lives. To do that, we must be fully present during rituals. In contrary, habits usually take us to a state of numbness and absence. In most cases, when we are engaged in our habits, we are essentially doing things without reflecting or contemplating on them. For the most part, we enter a state of emotional or mental numbness when in our habits. If we take our rituals as granted and not be fully present while in them, they begin to lose their power and meanings. If this continues, we unknowingly transform them to mindless habits and soon lose our connection to our intentions and everything else they represented. Unfortunately, this is a real risk threatening many of our life-promoting rituals and traditions today. For example, we may still pray or smudge a room as a part of a ritual, but without being fully present, we may not feel a true connection to what that ritual meant to manifest. Closing thoughts. In closing, I hope you are now able to notice and appreciate the importance and rightful place of intentions and rituals in your life, and maybe even make efforts to establish new ones to stay closer and more connected to whatever holds the most meaning and value in your life. Unfortunately, we now live in a world filled with distractions. So I hope you join me to invite a deeper connection with your innermost sense of being, your heart, your soul, or whatever else that signifies higher wisdom in your life. Let us revisit our decisions and goals in life to notice what emotions are behind them. Let's try to realign them with our intentions and what we chose to honor in this life. Let's renew our commitment to our rituals and form new ones to help us be fully present and find meaning in everything we do. Let us reduce our mind-numbing habits, or at least transform them to ones that help us experience life with a renewed sense of peace, purpose, and meaning. Contemplative moments like these are opportunities to adjust or reaffirm your views and guiding principles in life, and bring your ideals and aspirations in full alignment with them. If you have found this presentation useful, please like and share it with your like-minded friends. Also, please share your comments, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay connected. Your support is the foundation of this channel and encourages me to create more content in the future. Blessings.